Hi there. This is Jane Wojtaszynski, and I'm with the YBM DLC group. We are mortgage agents and from Barrie area, and I'm here with Siohban Hughes, who is a debt consultant with Strategic Credit Solutions. Siohban, thank you for meeting with me today, and I really appreciate you coming. And well, you're not didn't really have to go anywhere, but I appreciate your presence. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Absolutely. Jane, great to be here with you today. I have several years in finance experience. I started at a bank, was there for about 5 years. Then I moved to car lending, subprime car lending. Wasn't, you know, the it wasn't my favorite. And then I ended up in mortgages for a little bit. Again, still not my favorite. And I had worked with the owner of the company, Josh, through the mortgage agency I was working with for his debt settlement company. And I thought, you know what, this sounds like a really cool idea. I reached out to him, and that was a couple years ago, and I've been there ever since. So Strategic Credit Solutions is a informal debt settlement company. This is not a proposal. What we do is we utilize the equity in your client's home to negotiate a one-time lump sum settlement that is paid from the proceeds of your client's mortgage.
Fabulous. So that sounds like a really amazing alternative. Have a lot of questions that come up when you're interacting with people or brokers who have people who come to them. I think we mentioned you talked about a couple of questions that come up often. So we're going to go through those questions if you don't mind. Question number one: how will this process affect my mortgage renewal?
So the whole point of our service is to put you in a better position for your renewal or the future. We don't want to hurt your credit negatively. So the main thing that the lenders are going to look at when you go for a renewal is how much debt is outstanding and if anything is in a collection, is written off, is behind. So how our settlements reflect is a $0 balance on the bureau, which gives the lender a peace of mind knowing that nobody can come after you for that outstanding money. So it actually does help when you have fallen behind. It helps your chances at a renewal and with that lower rate because your credit has improved so much by doing the settlement and consolidating all of your quote unquote bad credit.
Sounds good. Okay. So in regards to all that bad debt, uh, do you have to settle? Does one have to settle all of the accounts, or how does that work?
Nope, this program is completely flexible and it is able to be tailored to each client's unique situation. There are a couple, asterisks that I should kind of point out. So that being said, if you have, say, two credit cards and a line of credit with BMO, for instance, and all of them are either a couple payments behind or either in good standing, you would have to settle all of those. So all of the debts with the same company have to be settled. But if you have a CIBC credit card, that's your Costco card, you want to keep it open, it's in good standing, absolutely keep that open. You are under control, excuse me, you are in control in this situation, unlike a proposal where everything has to go and you start completely from fresh.
Sounds good. Okay, so for this process, there has to be a trigger point, I'm guessing. And that trigger point would be you're behind in payments or you're missed a payment. Um, can you talk about the the issue of missing a payment to do this? Because that seems like counterintuitive.
It definitely does. I speak to a lot of people about missing a payment. So the reason, just to, explain this a little bit better, the reason you have to miss a payment is if there was no show of financial hardship, the bank's not going to make a deal with you. They're going to assume that you can keep paying your monthly payments whether that's true or not. So as soon as you miss that first payment, they say, uh-oh, what's going on? Are they going to be able to continue to make payments? Are we going to have to chase them? Are we going to have to sue them? So that's why you have to be behind at least one payment. It doesn't have to be as far gone as a collection, and you don't have to fall behind, or sorry, you don't have to be behind in order to start the settlement. If we've connected and you say, okay, everything's up to date, I'm just struggling, the interest is killing me, we'll make a plan from there. We'll say, great, okay, get approved, make sure you know exactly how much you're getting, and then we can start missing payments.
Okay, so that was my next question. How do you kind of factor in what the when it is that you would start the process? And for someone who is paying all of their bills, maybe it's just the minimum payment, but they pride themselves on, doing everything by the book and doing everything they can to pay their bills. That's going to be an issue for them, don't you think?
It definitely is. A lot of people do struggle with it. And like I said, the goal for us is to put you in a better situation going forward. So many people are stuck in that minimum payment loop. They're paying thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest every year. Imagine what $5,000 could do for them just by saving that much in interest and, missing that payment. That is definitely the biggest hurdle that we face, and just trying to get the clients to understand why. But once we show them the expected savings, they go, okay, cool, great. That's a significant amount that's going to, really make a difference for me in my life right now.
Can you tell me what kind of demographic you are coming across in this solution? Because there's the baby boomers, and then there's guys your age. So what kind of people are you talking to right now?
Everybody actually, especially there's been a lot of fraud scams in the older generations. Um, People who are my generation who just can't keep up. Everything got so much more expensive. Nobody got a raise like that. Nobody has all of that extra income. There was COVID where people were off for a long period of time. They had to rely on their credit just to buy food and,
Yeah,
keep the lights on. So it's really widespread. Anybody and everybody seems to be affected right now.
interesting. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate all of your insight and help in this matter. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could use this kind of a service, and they would need to go to a mortgage broker and or mortgage. You're not going to get this at the bank. You can't go to the bank and say, "Hey, can you can you give me a
No way.
break?"
No way. No, they might freeze your interest, but they will never make you a deal. Um, and honestly, if you spoke to somebody who worked at the bank, they would tell you definitely don't do this. This is bad. I would have told you the same thing when I worked at the bank, but at the end of the day, their profit is billions of dollars a year, and our clients are just scraping to get by. So, any place we can help, definitely.
That's great. So, someone who is kind of in this situation and looking for some information, they can approach me or you. Well, they can't approach you. They have to come through you. They have to come through me to get to you. So we need
Yeah.
to see the numbers, what the numbers look like, and see you would come up with I'd send you the numbers and you come up with some kind of a plan to see if it's even viable or not, if there's something that can be done or not. And that
Exactly.
is that kind of what happens then.
Exactly, yeah. So, with the client's permission, you've shared some details about what they owe, who they owe. I will do an analysis, break it down by each creditor, and say, okay, for this account, this is how much savings you can expect, and just go from there. Once a client has given you permission to share their contact details, I will reach out to them, just give them a little free one-on-one, no obligation consult. We are a completely judgment-free zone. We understand that so many people are in situations they never expected to be. They might be a little embarrassed about it. They might have a hard time admitting that they have a problem or are going to have a problem. So we just want you to know that, we are here for you. Our service is meant to help, right? So we want to get you back on track.
And where is this service available? Is it just in Ontario, or is it across Canada?
All provinces except Quebec. Quebec has different lending regulations and stuff like that, so it is a lot harder. So any province except Quebec, we are able to negotiate a settlement in.
That's fabulous. Okay, well, and now that everything is opening up across, hopefully up across Canada, there's going to be more interaction between provinces. That's great. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. And is there any last words you'd like to say to those, maybe somebody out there who's struggling?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know it's a little daunting, it's a little scary, but just think about where you could be in a year from now, even in 6 months from now, right? If you just take that step and say, hey, I need some help. I'm struggling here, and we are here for you, the whole Yellow Brick Mortgage team and Strategic Credit Solutions.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. And you have a great day too, Siobhan.
Thanks, Jane. Bye.
Hi. Do you have a mortgage renewing? Are you in debt and struggling? Don't wait till it's too late. Give me a call, 705-821-2011, or text me and let me help you solve this problem.